In the bustling manufacturing hub of Srinagar, the air was thick with the rhythmic, deafening clatter of thousands of wooden looms. This was a textile city, and at its heart lived Manthanaka, a weaver of legendary skill. Manthanaka was a master of his craft. He could spin cotton with a precision that bordered on art. Yet, despite working 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, his life was defined by absolute financial stagnation. His clothes were tattered, his children went to bed hungry, and his bank account was perpetually empty. Manthanaka was trapped in a brutal macroeconomic reality, commoditization. Because he was weaving standard white cotton fabric, he was competing with every other weaver in the city. The local merchants knew this. They drove the purchase prices down to the absolute floor. If Manthanaka demanded a single copper coin more for his labor, the merchants would simply walk next door. He was selling his finite time for linear wages in a market that didn't care about his existence. One afternoon, disaster struck. The heavy wooden beam of his ancient loom snapped under the tension. Without his loom, Manthanaka wasn't just poor, he was extinct. Grabbing his iron axe, he walked deep into the northern forests to find a sturdy neem tree to harvest wood for a replacement beam. Deep in the woods, Manthanaka found a magnificent, ancient tree. As he raised his axe to strike the trunk, the air shimmered and a powerful forest spirit materialized from the leaves. "Stop!" the spirit pleaded, its voice echoing through the canopy. "This tree is my sanctuary. If you spare my home, I will grant you any single wish your heart desires. Ask for wealth, power, or kingdoms, and it shall be yours." Manthanaka's heart raced. The doors of infinite wealth had just swung wide open, but because his brain had been conditioned by a lifetime of low-wage labor, he couldn't grasp the concept of passive wealth or scalable assets. He ran a survival-driven calculation in his head. If I ask for a massive chest of gold coins, the local tax collectors will raid my home. If I ask for a kingdom, neighboring warlords will invade. I don't know how to be a king. I only know how to weave. I need to increase my capacity to work. He looked up at the spirit and proudly declared, "Give me an extra head and an extra pair of arms. That way, I can sit at 2 looms simultaneously and weave twice as much cloth every single day. I will double my income through pure production volume." The spirit sighed, deeply saddened by the narrow horizon of the man's mind. "So be it," the spirit whispered. A flash of blinding white light consumed the clearing. Manthanaka woke up lying in the dirt. He felt a strange weight on his shoulders. He reached up and gasped. He now possessed 2 fully functioning heads, looking in opposite directions, and 4 muscular arms swinging from his torso. He didn't see a mutation. He saw a massive competitive advantage. He was ecstatic. He thought, "I am now a double production machine. The merchants will have to respect me now." He marched out of the forest and entered the city gates of Srinagar, his 4 arms swinging and his 2 heads scanning the crowd. He expected the townspeople to bow to his new efficiency. But human psychology doesn't look at a freakish mutation and think about productivity metrics. The moment the local watchmen and the citizens saw this bizarre, 2-headed, 4-armed entity sprinting down the cobblestone streets, they didn't see a master weaver. They saw an invading monster. They saw an existential threat. "A demon! A demon has breached the gates!" the guards shrieked. The marketplace erupted into total chaos. Merchants abandoned their stalls. Citizens grabbed heavy wooden clubs, iron rods, and jagged stones. Before Manthanaka could even open either of his mouths to explain his business plan, a panicked mob of hundreds of people swarmed him. They beat him relentlessly, fracturing his limbs and crushing his skulls, leaving him dead in the dirt before he could ever touch his loom again. At first, the story seems strange. Why would someone choose forearms instead of asking for money? But there is another important question. What exactly was Mantharaka trying to solve? He was trying to solve an income problem with a production solution. He thought, how can I make more cloth? He never asked, how can I make cloth that people will pay more for? And this is where the story becomes surprisingly relevant today. If your income has reached a ceiling, simply adding more hours may not solve the problem. Instead, ask yourself this: can I develop a skill that is harder to replace? Can I solve a more valuable problem? Can I serve a better paying customer? Can I create something of value that makes money while I sleep? These questions can change the direction of your career. The Panchatantra story of Mantharaka is not telling us to stop working hard. Instead, it is asking us to think carefully about what our hard work produces. If you develop a valuable skill, solve an important problem, and create results that people are willing to pay for, your income can change without requiring you to work twice as many hours. If this story gave you something to think about, subscribe to the channel for more stories from ancient wisdom and the lessons they can teach us about money, work, and life. Thank you.